If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home. Welcome to the voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL, 950 AM, 100.3 FM. And you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. It's CatholicAudiomedia.com. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform. And just look for Catholic Audio Media, all one word, and then scroll through until you'll see the voice of St. Anthony Parish, or Catholic Audio Media, 3 words, on Spotify. Well, we're going to have an interesting little series that I'm going to discuss this week to help us to understand something, a little observation I've been watching and on the national stage. Let me begin, because it's gonna take me a little while to set this up. Let me begin by, I dealt with someone one time who apparently had been dealing with the occult, and even though this is not going to be an occult story, and one of the issues that she was able to kind of predict the future, it was very bothersome for her, for people. She'd be able to look at them and be able to see something that was coming in the future, and she hated this. And she had been involved in the cults, and so I suspected there may be some kind of demonic presence or influence or something. Not so much that she chose, but just to happen to be there. And she asked me how this would happen. And I said, she says, she was saying how, this stuff can come true and all the other stuff. And I said, the issue really, you need to look at, first of all, the real issue is, where is this information coming from? But the other thing is, understand this. Entities like this are outside of time. So they can see human activity through a reality of time. So the way I described this is, imagine, and maybe we can pick downtown Boston. So imagine you're driving for the first time on Atlantic Avenue in Boston, for those of you who know Atlantic Avenue, and some person who can see the whole area and knows the whole area anyway will be saying to you, okay, you're going down Atlantic Avenue, you've just come off of 93, you're going to see a diner to your left, you want to take a left-hand turn when the road ends, and as you're driving, you're going, wow, this is exactly what the person said was going to happen. Well, the reason is, of course, the person knows the whole area and can see where you are in the whole area. It's nothing spectacular. And there you go, you take the left-hand turn, you go in, on your right-hand side will be South Station. First you'll see the bus station, then you'll see the train station, and then you'll come to a intersection. And you, wow, exactly as the person said. Well, obviously the reason is because the person knows the area well and can see more of the area than you can. And that's one of the aspects that I said, if you think of that on a spiritual level, that's essentially what's going on. Some kind of influence is something that can see a block of time and is letting you know what they can see somehow, and she's trying to see a way to get rid of it. It's letting you know what they can see, but for them, it's just, this is what I see. And you're hearing this and going, but this is, so surprising. And how is this information there and everything else? So it's something that I'm trying to kind of set the tone for. There is that reality in the spiritual world, there's that reality in the physical world. So, for example, a story I've told you before, a fascinating story about Maximilian Kolbe. And Maximilian Kolbe knew in 1933 that there would be, and he didn't know what it was, but he knew that there would be what he called a firebomb that was going to land in downtown Nagasaki. And he knew. No one knows how he knew, but he was a very holy man, and he was very prophetic, and he obviously had the gifts, some of the gifts that you see in 1 Corinthians 12. So even he didn't fully understand what he saw, but he knew that there would come a fireball, as he called it, in downtown Nagasaki. And the story is he wanted to build a monastery in Nagasaki. The town offered him this place in downtown Nagasaki, and he said, no, I want to build it on this other side of the hill. There's a fireball that's going to land there. And I'm surprised no one went, or maybe they did. What? What did you just say? Because remember, at that time, the concept of a nuclear bomb, or atomic bomb rather, didn't even exist. No one had that thought in their head. We're going to talk more on the other side of the break. We'll be right back right after this. You can now leave a message for us, which we can air and discuss on this program. Just call 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. 617-297-7452. Feel free to call, leave a comment, a question, or even feedback, and we may play it on the air. I can discuss your comment or question as well, so give that a try. 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. We're back, and we're talking about this dynamic as I'm setting the scene for something that we're going to be discussing as the week goes on. But this dynamic. So I talked to you about how Maximilian Kolbe somehow knew that what he called a firebomb was going to land in downtown Nagasaki at a time when no one had any concept of anything called an atomic bomb. And I talked to you also about a woman I knew who was able to see the future on certain people. Drove her crazy. She hated it, and believed this was some kind of demonic influence. So you had these things that are realities. People will tell you of these realities, and the question is, how does this happen? And always understand that we live in time, but beyond us in the spiritual world, there is no time. And so there, as I described it, there are spiritual realities, angels, and even demons or whatever, that can see the future. Obviously, God that can see whole blocks of time, so they know what's coming in the future. Not necessarily that people have to do this, but this is what they will do. If that makes any sense, it's like someone makes a choice. And somehow, of course, we don't understand this. Other people have an understanding of that choice is made, but it's like they have an image of this reality. But somewhere along the line, the person who makes the choice. So, for example, take Judas. Some people say Judas was predestined to betray Jesus, but Judas made the choice to betray Jesus. It was a choice, a free choice he made. So how do you put those two things together? Well, there is that understanding of seeing a whole block of time or all of time and know what's going to happen, and that doesn't necessarily take away the free choice of the people who make the decisions. Do you see what I'm saying? So we see that reality first, and this is how I want to set everything down here on this particular week. So we see that's a reality, that there are certain events that happen, and almost in a way, if you really think, but let's look at a classic disastrous reality, and that's the Titanic. There were so many elements that went into the sinking of the Titanic that were fascinating, and they were just elements that happened. It almost would remind you of Final Destination movies. You had no binoculars for the lookout because they had an extra officer, and he didn't have to work on the Titanic, so they sent him home. And unfortunately, when they sent him home, he took with him by accident the key for the locker with all the binoculars. So the lookout didn't have any binoculars. It was James Cameron, like I know Jim Cameron, I don't. James Cameron said that one of the things that caused the Titanic to sink was this calm seas. I talked about this a few times on the show. These calm seas, which is very rare you ever see that. You got to think this is the North Atlantic in April. But the sea was so calm that there were no waves or there was no surf. And surf is fluorescent because of these animals, these tiny animals, plankton, I guess, that's in the water, that when it hits air, it lights up. So the surf is literally fluorescent, which would light up that there is an iceberg there. I mean, all these things kind of came together, and they just happened to be the reality. And if someone was, as we look back at that time, we go, wow, this was a disaster waiting to happen, and no one saw the elements, and all the decisions were made at the time, but it wasn't that this was a done deal. And of course, on top of this, these people were saying that they had conquered nature. They didn't literally use those words, but they had built an unsinkable ship. And all these little factors came together of which they had no control. Now, I kind of touched on this a couple weeks ago in a homily where I discussed Jurassic Park and that great line by Dr. Ian Malcolm, who says that the problem with Jurassic Park, meaning he's a character in the story, so it's not the book that he's talking about, in the story, that this doesn't take into account chaos theory. You can't account for all the factors all the time, which is exactly what the story is all about. And maybe the same thing with the Titanic. So you have that reality that we are human, but we cannot control all the factors all the time. And so things may go wrong, but at the same time, the reason why they go wrong is not because they have to. It's because people make free choices, and other people can understand the bigger picture by seeing the aftermath of the free choices. We'll talk more tomorrow. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.